This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 16. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the name who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai's sake. I'm Brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp. And yes, the reason why I brought out the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 16, is I came across this article today from NBC New York, Channel 4. They're reporting how Northern Kingdom Jake is speaking out against his innocence after serving 22 years for a murder he didn't commit. Okay? According to this article, the sole eyewitness, all right, made a false statement, all right. The day of the murder, okay, or the night of the murder, all right, he stated that two Southern Kingdom Jakes came into the apartment, shot his girlfriend in the back of the head while she was sleeping, execution style, all right. That's what he told the police. There was two Southern Kingdom Jakes, and right then he changed his story up and said it was only one Southern Kingdom Jake, all right. And then after that, 10 years later, okay, he changed his story up again, all right, because the murder was committed in 1992, and then 10 years later after that, because they're still looking for these murderers, okay, he changed the story up again and said, oh no, it was this Northern Kingdom Jake, who's 5'6", not 6 foot as he's described on the night of the murder or the day of the murder. All right, and reminded me of Exodus chapter 20, verse 16, because, you know, that's why we have the laws. You know, we have the laws, all right, on how to deal with one another, all right? And you cannot be making, okay, false allegations, all right? You cannot be bearing false witness against your neighbor, all right? It's clearly in the law, all right? And that's the reason why, you know, the Lord has to come back, all right, to literally, all right, judge, all right, these 2/3, okay, because they out of order, all right, here at Babylon the Great, all right. And that's why World War III is going to happen. That's why the nukes are going to fly, and then of course the Lord's going to come back, all right, with the chariots and the laser beams, all right, because this is out of order, all right. This Jake had to serve 22 years, all right, of a crime he didn't commit, of a murder he didn't commit, all right. And what's so crazy is that the whole judicial system, okay, was totally against them. They didn't bring into evidence or into the court proceedings of the false testimony that this bugged out Northern Kingdom said, all right, when he was going through trial. Okay, all the police testimonies on that night of the murder, they didn't bring into trial. So, you know, a lot of people are at fault for putting this Jake in prison for 22 years. Okay, and that's, you know, this reminded me of Habakkuk, right here, Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 3. Why dost thou show me iniquity and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that rise up strife and contention, right? And that's us the prophets. This is all we see, man. This is all we see, you know, and that's why we beg the Lord, how long of this? How long? Babu Kushal Yahweh Bashim Shai, please return, all right? Please return, okay? Because all you see, all right, is spoiling and violence, all right, and strife and contention among our people, okay? 4. Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. Right, and that whole court proceeding, that circus of a court, all right, wrong judgment proceedeth. Okay, innocent man had to do 22 years, all right, and now that he's out on probation, he's working hard to clear his name, all right, and I would too, okay, all right, because he kept maintaining his innocence. He didn't do a plea deal, all right. The prosecution, when you read that article, said that, hey, we'll just give you 5 years, just admit you're guilty. 5 years, that's it. Just do 5 years and then you'll be gone. You go on probation. He said no. He said he could. Why? He couldn't look his family in his face for something he never did. All right, that reminds me of Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 1. A good name is better than precious ointment. Let me read that one more time. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 1. A good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of his death than the day of one's birth. You see that? Okay? So let's get into this article. All right? I know it's going to hit some key points and bring out some scriptures. Again, this is in our law. It's in the 10 Commandments. All right? Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Okay? And that's why the law, all right, is needed. All right? Okay? You need the law. All right? For those plantation Christians talk about the laws are done away with. You're an idiot. After spending nearly 22 years locked up in New York State penitentiaries, Ephraim Diaz, and that's spiritual in itself, his name is Ephraim, all right, is on parole and on a mission to clear his name. Diaz, 54, was convicted of murdering Consuelo Agudelo, a 31-year-old woman who was sleeping in her Woodside, Queens apartment when she was shot execution style in the back of her head. The killing took place in July 1992, but Diaz wasn't arrested until nearly 10 years later, right? Because they were looking for those murderers, okay? 10 years later, when the sole eyewitness, Samir Hurtado, changed his story dramatically while facing deportation related to a federal drug investigation, right? So he basically, okay, he bare fault witness because, all right, he was going to cut a deal, all right, with those individuals that were going to deport him and say, look, I know someone that killed, okay, this woman that I'm with, all right, and that's why he said he named Diaz, all right, even though they were still looking for this murder for 10 years. He then changed the name, okay, and that goes to show you Esau Edom, his justice system is jacked up, is confusing, because you're supposed to be looking for, all right, Southern Kingdom Jakes, but yet you're arresting a Northern Kingdom 10 years later for a crime he didn't commit, just from off one testimony of a flip-flopper, okay? There was nothing connecting me to this crime, Diaz told the I-Team. This man came out 10 years after the crime was committed only because he was in custody, right? Okay, slandering another man, okay? On the day of the murder, Hurtado was also injured by gunfire in Agudelo's apartment, but he survived. According to police notes and records from that day, he repeatedly told first responders the killer or killers were Jake men, Southern Kingdom, so-called black, all right? Which, you know, me reading this article, I believe this man did it, man, okay? This bugged out. He sounds like he's a Northern Kingdom who did that. Okay. One of the first responding NYPD officers wrote in his notebook that he spoke to a medic who stated that the male victim, Hurtado, told him that two male so-called blacks just shot him. Another page of the same police notebook memorializes a statement from Hurtado himself where he stated two so-called black men pushed their way into the apartment and went over to the female when she was sleeping and shot her. Later, an NYPD platoon commander in the 108th precinct typed up a report on the homicide, which say Hurtado states that two males, dark complexion, forced their way in and first shot Consuelo Agudelo in bed and then fired on him. About 8 hours after the shooting, while recovering from his gunshot wounds at Elmhurst Hospital, Hurtado changed his story slightly. According to detectives' notes, he now implicated only a single intruder, no longer two men. So you see how he changed, okay, his story. Okay, even in that day, he was changing his story. But from his hospital bed, he maintained, and the killer was largely built male, okay, so-called black, pushed him into the apartment. Detectives notes when on Tuesday says Hurtado described the male as a medium, so-called black, 20s, approximately 6 foot. 6 foot! And Diaz says he's 5'6". And that he was not of Hispanic extraction. Diaz, who is 5'6", says he never met the victim, Agudelo, or her boyfriend, Hurtado, all right? And he says there is no way he could be mistaken for a large-statured, okay, Jake Man, Southern King. I would describe myself as a white Hispanic. Well, you know, he's bugged out. You're an Israelite. But anyway, all right? But, you know, the point is, you see the false allegations, the tail bearing from this bugged out Hurtado, bearing false witness, okay? Now out of prison, Diaz is asking Queens District Attorney Melinda Cass to support his request for a conviction reversal or a new trial. Right. So after he did his time, 22 years, and now that he's on parole, he's like, no. Okay. All right. I want to reverse this conviction, or I want to do a new trial. Right. Because, hey, he wants to clear his name. All right. Again, a name is more precious. Let's read that one more time. Okay. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 1. A good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. Right, let's get the precept to that. It's in the book of Proverbs chapter 22, verse 1. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. Right, in this case, all right, he'd rather do, all right, the full sentence, proclaim his innocence, than do 5 years, all right, and have that be labeled as a murderer who shot a woman while she was sleeping, okay? And that's the mindset you got to have. Because, hey, persecution's coming, all right? You got to go all the way on to death. Because that's how Esau going to come. False allegations, bringing false witnesses from your own people, all right? And that's why, you know, us as the prophets, man, we have to, you know, when we speak, we have to speak truth. And the scriptures say this. Let me get this. Sirach or Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 7. Blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Right. Blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Right. We're going to be truthful. All right. We're not going to make things up. We're not going to bear false witness. All right. We're going to walk in the spirit of Yahweh Bashmiel Shah. We're going to speak the truth. All right. Understand first, then rebuke. Right. And, you know, with me, okay, that's why I love using articles. All right. Articles that from a general consensus. Oh, like, for example, I'll use like Fox News or CNN if it correlates to the Bible. All right. Because on a general consensus, the masses, okay, believe like, oh, Fox and CNN, those are quote unquote credible truths, which we know, all right, that they're bullshit artists. But hey, when they bring out shit, all right, that you could correlate to the scriptures, when they bring out, you know, information that you could correlate to the scriptures, oh yeah, I'm gonna use Fox and CNN, okay, and any other source that on a general consensus, all right, is considered to be a factual source, all right, okay, even when it comes to hearing things about certain Israelite camps and stuff like that. If I can't see them say it from their mouth, okay, or if I'm not hearing it from a trusted brother, okay, that I know that's a sincere brother, okay, I'm not going to believe it, okay? And that's how you should move too, okay? Also, if you weren't there, you shouldn't speak on something that you weren't there, okay? That's another thing. You got a lot of busybodies that's speaking on things that they weren't there. Okay? Let's get more on this article. It says, Mr. Diaz's case is one of more than 130 currently being evaluated by the Conviction Integrity Unit for investigation, as spokesperson said. For there to be justice in the criminal justice system and faith in its outcomes, it is imperative for prosecutors to follow the facts to where they lead. Okay, let's continue on. In the original trial, Hurtado denied ever describing the killers or killers as so-called Negro, and the jury never got to see the police notes that directly contradicted him. According to portions of the trial transcript reviewed by the I-Team, the police notes were never entered as evidence and never referred to on cross-examination. So, this gentleman, Diaz, this Israelite Diaz, he was set up from failure from the jump, okay? All these testimonies that the police wrote down, okay? This was never submitted in, okay, in the trial, all right? And was never referred in cross-examination. So even his defense lawyer was a fuck up, man. Okay? The jury also never got to see a prior felony domestic violence complaint filed against Aguadelo's husband, who had since passed away. The criminal complaint was unsealed just before the trial began, but Diaz's defense attorney, Murray Singer, said he was never given the paperwork until after the guilty verdict. All right? Well, you were an incompetent defense attorney. All right? These are stuff you're supposed to be looking at. All right? A man is being tried for murder. All right? You're supposed, and there's only one sole witness. All right? The scriptures talk about there needs to be 2 to 3 witnesses. Hold on. That's how you know we got to get out of here, man. 2 or 3 witnesses. 2, 3. Let's see if I can put it in here. Deuteronomy 17:6. At the mouth of 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses shall he that is worthy of death be put to death. But at the mouth of 1 witness, he shall not be put to death. That's how you know the court system in America is fucked up, man. I hate this fucking place. All right, because of shit like this, man. All right. This is why this place has got to be destroyed. It's random wickedness. Okay. All right, and that's a piece of shit lawyer, that defense attorney. All right, Mike, whatever the fuck his name is. All right, you're a piece of shit lawyer. All right, you need to be. Your licenses need to be removed. All right. The wording of that complaint alleged that Aguadelo's husband had once stabbed her with a screwdriver in a fit of rage. Right. That's why, like I said in the beginning of this lesson, I believe that it was the husband, boyfriend, all right, who executed that. Okay. His girlfriend, his wife, his woman. All right. A narrative that supported the defense theory that it was more likely the woman's killing had to do with a romantic jealousy than with drugs. I stand by my work representing and defending Mr. Diaz and continue to believe that Mr. Diaz is innocent, was wrongfully convicted, Singer said. I hope that his continued efforts to be exonerated will be successful. Yeah, you know, that's the devil for you, all right? Because why didn't you try hard in the first time, all right? Only 1 eyewitness, okay? And you couldn't get a background check of this guy Diaz until after the trial? Terrible lawyer, man. Okay? They always say that. Esau always says that. You can't believe, fuck these Edomites. I mean, you can't, even when they fuck up, they always try to downplay their fuck ups, man. You fucked up, man. Anyway, and goes on and says, that's it. So let's get a scripture. And Leviticus chapter 19, verse 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer, meaning a slander, among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord. Right, okay? That's in the law. 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Right, and that's why, if you see, someone slandering another brother, okay, or just slandering someone, okay, and it's not true, all right? You got to call them out on that. Hey, that wasn't true, okay? You don't want to make things up, man, all right? The Lord doesn't like people making things up, all right, about another person, okay? You don't want to be a slanderer, okay? That's why if you notice, whenever we get on these Israelite camps, right? You know, that's how brothers always do, you know, they crop the video out. Well, hey, like for example, General Nathan, you know, General Nathaniel, you know, he changes his name all the time. You know, the leader of IUIC, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not even going to mention your name. The leader of IUIC, okay? He changes the doctrine of the MOTB, okay, every 3 to 5 years, right? It went from plantation Christianity, embargo plantation Christianity. I mean, it gets confusing. You just be like, you know, what's up with this guy? All right. Then it goes to sin, okay, which that kind of correlates everything, you know, plantation Christianity. I don't know where embargo fits in with sin, but anyway. And then now it's, what's it called? The Revelation 17, okay, the great whore, all right, which is Babylon, all right, with the golden cup, all right, and of course blasphemies in her head. Now that's the MOTB. Now that's okay, the digital awe, which is BS. It's total BS. All right, but are we slandering? No. The brothers are cropping it out. You know, they're showing videos. Hey, this is what you said. Okay, and now you're saying this, and why we're going to use the scriptures to combat that, contending for the faith. Okay, and it's just confusing with that leader of IUIC. He just changes his doctrine constantly. All right. All right, Deuteronomy 19 and 14. I want to bring this out. Deuteronomy 19 and 16. If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong, 17, then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before the Lord, before the priests and the judges, which shall be in these days. 18, and the judges shall make diligent inquisition, and behold, if the witness be a false witness and have testified falsely against his brother, 19, then shall ye do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. So shalt thou put the evil away from among you. Right. So why am I bringing this out? Someone making that false allegation, he needs to do 22 years in prison. Okay. And if he did kill that his girlfriend, then he needs to be executed. Okay. Point blank. All right. 20. And those which remain shall hear and fear, and shall henceforth committed no more any such evil among you. 21. And thy eye shall not pity, but life shall go for life. Right. Okay. You kill someone, you got to be killed. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. All right. Okay. That's in the law. All right. Now, of course, granted, all things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. You know, if someone who was, you know, was a murderer, but then he came into this truth, he repented, he sincerely repented, then of course he's going to be forgiven for his murders. All right. Okay. That by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay. But, you know, we have a law that goes into, you know, how to do things when certain situations arise, you know. And I'll bring this out. Romans chapter 3, verse 31. Do we then make void the law through faith? God forbid. Yea, we establish the law. Right. Okay, so, you know, the laws are not done away with. All right, we have laws, all right, to govern the world, govern society. And the fact that, okay, we have a wicked nation known as the Edomites that are now, okay, governing the world, okay, this is what you get. Okay, confusion, all right, a circus of a court proceeding, all right, innocent people going to prison for crimes they didn't commit, all right, and that's why when we are set up, the Hebrew Israelites, all right, we're gonna, all right, push the laws, all right, on earth in righteousness, all right, so that things like this don't ever happen, okay. So, Lord willing, this less edifying. Again, don't be bearing false witness. Okay, this is what happens when you bear false witness. Okay, and this, this article is an example. And Tawadi Yah Bashim Yah Shai for having me come across this so I can make it a lesson that's edifying to the sincere Akim and Akwaf. And Lord willing, it was edifying. Okay, and with that, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh Bashim Yah Shai, Bashim Bukak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And citation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai's sake. Love you, brothers. Keep the door, keep the faith. As you can see, we're almost out of here. We just waiting on particular prophecies to happen, which they're going to happen in our lifetime. All right? And then we get up out of here, man. So we don't have to deal with this and see our people suffer like this. All right? So keep praying. Pray for each other. Pray for the apostles and elders. All right? For the futures that are watching, keep studying when you pray. Pray to cover. Shalom and abad of the ball. Shalom.